Welcome, friends. Welcome to A Word of Gord here in April 2021 at the residence thereof. And this is a fairly, how shall I say, spontaneous video. Been thinking about Terence McKenna for decades, and his omnipresence on the net helps that along just fine. And more recently, after attempting that filmed little journey to the world of the self-replicating machine elves, I felt a stronger urge to contact, well, I'm going to say Terence himself, but he's not a himself anymore. And as many of you may have suspected, an adventurous, advanced soul, always up for an adventure, as you know. And I remember before he passed, I thought, oh, he's going to have fun in the afterlife. And that's a few years ago now. But, what are years in the centuries of eternity? Not much. So a few hour or so ago, I felt meditating. I felt a contact coming on, like a sneeze, and had a little interaction then. And he wanted to know why I wasn't going to do it right away. Well, you're here. Why don't you do it now? What's wrong with the present? And I said, well, I have to go upstairs and get the equipment. And he understood, although he was a little sort of impatient. Impatient as, I don't know, are they any more impatient than we are here? He was just big into the now thing, let's do it now. So we had an interaction, and I asked if it would be okay if I came, whoops, see what happens when you're not paying attention. Be okay if I came back, and oh dear, we are having trouble here today. Are the spirits interfering? I don't think so. Anyway, so I'm going to attempt to reconnect, and there, part of me must have been out there because it didn't take very long, and he accused me before of whizzing by him and not stopping. And I thought maybe my mental lack of focus was causing that. And that was his impression too, and he wanted me to be more focused instead of drifting by like something in orbit around him. I very much like it was, in orbit around him. And Terence, well, we're back. I'm back. We're back. We have the equipment. This will go online. So can I just give my perceptions of what I feel you are now? Sure, he said, have a go. I have a hard enough time myself. Okay, well, there seems to be a Terence that is replicating himself for my benefit and maybe the benefit of others that come by looking for him. So there's the recognizable Terence, which I think is a projection of a deeper Terence, a deeper, a being that transcends any particular incarnation. And beyond that, I see another, a sort of a glowing lamp that's radiating in pulses, a sort of a deep orange color. I don't suppose it matters what color it is, but it's radiating a bit like a very attractive lighthouse in the middle of a very pleasant night. And Terence tells me he's getting impatient again. He says, there's plenty of other Terences. I had loads of fun creating them. And I can activate them and deactivate them at will. It's the your basic minor deity trip, he says. And it's not for everyone, of course, but I sure like it. And it's a bit like playing a three-dimensional chess game, no, five-dimensional chess game, with all these knights and bishops and so on, making moves. And I'm sort of prodding them this way and that. Although they don't know it, they think they're doing it themselves. And that's half the fun. So, yeah, Terence, I got the notion when I was here last, half an hour ago or whatever, that you did enter the the full how many dimensional sphere of the self-replicating machine elves, the DMT space, as the experiencers call it now, here on Earth. And you want to talk about that? Well, yeah, surely. Instead of visiting, I stayed. And, the DMT rush is pretty short, as you all know. And even though when you're there, it expands, you don't have a heck of a lot of time to act and interact. You do, but they're giving you the gifts of multidimensional wisdom. Well, once I passed and I got myself sorted out in that typical human soul rearranging itself for the eternity's way, I went back and from one or two of the heaven worlds where friends and relatives were residing, went into the DMT space, as you call it, and experienced the being of a self-replicating machine elf, as I often called them, doing all the stuff that I'd been watching and wishing I could do myself. When they said, come and join us, be like us, do this, recreate all the time. I thought, yeah, that's going to be great fun, but could I actually do it? Well, this time, now that I'm dead, I did it. And it's even more fun than you think it is. I advise you all, if you can, in any way, to participate instead of observe. What did I see? What did I find out? Well, everything is endless creation. And while you may get that from studying quantum physics or taking a psychedelic, it was a total experiential lifetime being in there and doing it and not being Terence and not really being anything. Even the self-replicating machine elf, endlessly changing and morphing forms, is not really a being. It's an attitude. It's a concentration of vibration. But it's not really a being. It's not really a created being. It's a creative being. This, well, I'm sure a lot of you have given this much thought in the interim since I've been around. This is the culmination of much exploring and striving and wishing and hoping and dodging the bullets of conventionality as you pursue the journey, the meandering journey to all stops between then and now. Yeah, what you want? Vibrant, radiant, consuming, all-consuming. I was there, and It seemed like I was never going to leave. Why would you when having this much fun? But leave I did, because there are other places to explore and spheres to examine, and heavens and paradises and hells and purgatories. There's lots of them. And it's interesting to see how souls will immerse themselves in a heaven world and completely forget everything else. And as I observed that in my, wandering in ever new disguises, I realized that my endless time in the DMT space, the endlessly creative space, I could have lost myself in that, as a religionist would lose themselves in their choice of heaven. Thus, as you can probably guess, you can see where I'm going with this, it's all about getting lost for a while in various spheres, either in the physical world or in the non-physical world. And much of it is very pleasurable and joyful and intriguing and stimulating, but you're still getting lost. And at some point you have to leave and find out who you are outside of all these magical experiences. Magical as though they are, and they are. But who are you beyond the energy? Who are you beyond concepts like consciousness and energy and infinity? I believe I've found out. But lordy, it's... You want me to describe it? Nothingness bound by nothingness? Eternity wrapped in a blanket? Manifestation all curled up in the unmanifest? Or maybe the other way around. I can chatter and chatter about this in a very entertaining fashion, just like I would do giving talks and raps at those all-night raves. But I don't think I will. You can guess the rest. Have I met famous people, celebrities? Yes. Does it matter? Do you want to know about Tim Leary? Do you want to know about various gurus? Herodotus? Plato? The big names. Well, they're around. But when you meet them, you're never quite sure, is it the person or the psyche enrobed in other clothes? Or is the psyche a projection from something else? I can certainly project a version of Timothy Leary or Terence McKenna. Not that I'd want to imitate Timothy particularly, but, sitting around having a couple of drinks, why not? But myself, I can do that. I can be way back. In fact, who I am now, this young fellow that's talking to me, or listening to me, really, that's a projection from farther back, as he suspected. It's very convincing, isn't it? There, young fellow? Thanks, Terence. Young, haven't been called a young fella for a while. Yeah, I did sense that you were a projection, and I've tried to make that point on other videos, that physical plane bodies the ones we use for an incarnation, are in fact projections, holographic projections from another sphere beyond. Although when you get all caught up in that sperm, egg, fetus, womb, delivery, crying baby stuff, it can be a little hard to see. So the unfolding enigma keeps unfolding. And yes, the visitors have a lot to tell us. And I've been doing my dutiful best, going around and listening. They're here. They don't look like you might think they look like. They can look, they can morph just like a lot of the rest of us can. Some of them are more attached to their, evolutionary form, their early evolutionary form. The insect, the reptile, just as we humans are attached to the humanoid form. But they also, lots of them have the ability to morph into something else and be either more acceptable, more amusing, a little more scary. They recognize the theater of it all. And once they realize you're not afraid of them, then they really open up, Like people at a cocktail party after 3 drinks, they really open up. I sense you're wanting me to say something profound about the last year. And it's the same old shit over and over again. Those that would like to control and those that are bullied into being controlled or tricked or manipulated. It wasn't any different 40 and 50 years ago. There were forces, capitalist, governmental, religious, all trying to make you into what they would like you to be. A happy little consumer, a happy little tax-paying consumer, a happy little baby-making, tax-paying consumer. To heck with all those spiritual anarchists. We don't need them. Let them be artists or something. So, is that profundity for you? Is it profound enough? I've had other people like this young fella here come by and ask that question. And I just say, write it out. It's like anything else. It has its energy, it has its acceleration, and it has its exhaustion. And it will exhaust itself. So, learn to live with it. Take any path you wish. Be submissive, be rebellious. Be independent. Be a conformist. It's all the same to me. And when you get to this world, or this series of worlds, it'll be all the same to you. Don't get hung up on all that karma stuff. We've all got it. Everyone has to deal with it. It's no big deal. You just sort of make amends for things that you need to make amends for. And that's for most folk. There's some pretty out there sinners, that really have to work their load. But the average dude, the average gal, nah. So just follow the path that you want, and then you can put on the bandages later and kiss and hug and apologize later. Everyone else feels the same anyway, so don't worry about it. Reach that point, that high point, as often as you can, where you can survey that little boy or girl down on the ground, buzzing about, doing their thing, and know that it's a game, know that it's pure theater. Know that it doesn't matter in the long run. Know that there'll always be planets to incarnate on, even if Earth runs out of a little steam, which it's not going to, but lots of people think it's going to. I don't know why they do, but I think it's like looking at the little picture instead of the big picture. But anyway, that's an endless argument, and nobody wants to get into that. You expect more from me, don't you? And what's that more? Well, get high, meditate, bike ride, climb a tree, smoke DMT. Certainly have mushrooms in the house. They are the food of the gods. They are spirit teachers that go in your body. I haven't changed my mind on that. On the one hand, I haven't changed my mind on a lot of things, and yet, when you go into that DMT space, you're changing your mind every split second, every nanosecond. There goes that thought, here comes another one. There goes that thought, here comes another. There's 6 holding hands, and there's 4 dancing. And, whether you're thinking about something minor that happened on one day in 1973, or you're thinking about that Syrian you met, someone from Sirius, and how you reacted to their story about their evolution, they're all thoughts. They're all equal in their contribution to your big picture. I can't believe anybody wants to actually know how I'm doing. Come on now, don't be silly. There's certainly been a few friends and acquaintances come by this way who have done the transition to this world. And it's grand to see them so fulfilled, so pleasured by their own performance. And it's something I wish for all you guys and gals too. Be high, stay high, go high. Be an understanding molecule in evolution. That's it, really. A little thing that knows. Okay, I seem to be unhooking a bit there. Thank you, Terence. And gosh, I hope we can come by some other time. And I'm hearing a, yes, why not? And I probably failed to catch the beauty of his language, but I did my best. And until next time, colleagues and co-conspirators, au revoir.